So for the second half of the event, it's going to be the IP Open Policy Meeting. And for this session will be held by Cybersecurity Special Interest Group. And for this session, they'll be talking about the cybersecurity events and vulnerabilities handling. And this will be moderated by Dr. Robin Chin. So now, he is the Chief Information Security Officer of ASUSTek Computer. So now, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big hands to the moderator and all the speakers, please. 掌声鼓励，谢谢。
Okay, 谢谢主持人的 host. Thanks for the explanation, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the afternoon session for Policy Track. And we have the great honor to have 4 speakers to join us this afternoon. So the very first one is Mr. Takayuki Uchiyama-san from Panasonic. So the first session, we will have 2 speakers, both from Panasonic. The other gentleman is Chun Ming Liu. So Mr. Uchiyama-san is a member of Panasonic PCERT and is responsible for product security activity at the business division overseas. His main role includes the handling of vulnerability, creating and conducting product security training to product developers, and providing assistance to product development team related to product security as necessary. Aside from his role in Panasonic, Takayuki has been a CVE board member since 2016. Prior to joining Panasonic, Takayuki worked at the JP-CERT CC. And the other gentleman, Chun Ming Liu, he's from Panasonic Security Lab Taiwan. He's a senior IoT vulnerability researcher of the lab, in which he performs security and conformance testing on Panasonic product. He is passionate about researching and bringing new testing techniques to the team to keep up with the ever-evolving technology in newer products. So let's welcome 2 gentlemen from Panasonic. Thank you.
Thank you for the introduction. My name is Taki Uchiyama, and I'm from Panasonic. And we will be going over our global product security activities. This is just a quick introduction of myself. Thank you to Dr. Chin for my introduction. I used to work at JP-CERT Coordination Center. I was part of their vulnerability coordination team, as well as their global coordination division. And that's where part of my job included vulnerabilities. So that's where I became a CVE board member. And that's what I continue my role there as part of working at CVE. I'll provide a little bit more details on what CVE is and what we're doing at a program level in my presentation. And currently, I work at Panasonic. As Dr. Chin mentioned, I am in charge of our global product security activities. And I'd like to pass over to Jimmy-san for his quick introduction.
Okay, I'm Jimmy Liu Junming. And I'm a senior IoT vulnerability researcher in Panasonic Cybersecurity Lab in Taiwan. And I'm very passionate in finding vulnerabilities in our products and more likely to research about the various testing techniques on products and bring the new knowledge to our team and our developers. And also I love to attend like communities like HitCon, so you can see from the profile photo that's one year I'm having a talk at HitCon. So yeah, nice to meet you.
So for our presentation will be in 2 parts. I'd like to quickly go over some of the activities within Panasonic, as well as I mentioned before, I'd like to talk about some of the ongoing activities and what CVE is and what the CVE program is currently doing. And then I'll pass it over to Jimmy-san to talk about some of the stuff that he's doing at the lab. So this is our corporate slogan. It's to provide power for happiness is basically the literal translation of this. Our job at the Product Security Center is to ensure that the products that we put out into the market are safe and secure for our users to use. This is a screenshot of our corporate social responsibility document. Within that CSR document, we have a section on product security. The section on product security is in 3 parts. Today, I will focus on the bottom 2, focus on product security throughout the entire development lifecycle, and also post-shipment response. This is an image of the product security lifecycle, or what's commonly known as the SDL or SDLC, as Microsoft coined it years back. We provide various activities, documentation to our business units or developers that actually develop and ship out the products to help make sure that they can provide secure products to the market. And today, my piece will focus on the most right-hand side, the incident response piece. This is the Panasonic incident handling structure. When a vulnerability comes into Panasonic, say a vulnerability in Panasonic product A, say cross-site scripting vulnerability in Panasonic product A, it'll come into the Panasonic PCERT, which is where I work, and we will coordinate with whatever affected operating company or business division that develops and ships that product. We coordinate that vulnerability with them, make sure that there's a fix, make sure that the fix is okay. It gets it gets published to make sure that the users can apply that fix, and then we publish that information as a vulnerability advisory. And then in conjunction with working with any business units internal to Panasonic, we also work with security researchers or other security organizations, not just in Japan, but also throughout the globe. This is a quick sort of image or snapshot or synopsis of what PCERT life at Panasonic is. The Panasonic PCERT is not an actual dedicated team. It's a virtual team made up of many different members within the Product Security Center. For example, my role happens to be part global coordination, part PCERT. And there's other members within the PCERT. For example, we have a testing team that tests products, sort of what Jimmy will talk about that in a little bit, but there's some members within the PCERT that also test products. So we all have our different roles within the Product Security Center, and we also provide incident response activities when a product vulnerability is reported to us. This is a vulnerability coordination form. This is a report form that is made public on our corporate website. Security researchers, vulnerability researchers, security organizations, they can come in through this form and report a vulnerability to the Panasonic PCERT. We get reports of all kinds of shapes and forms. Some of them make sense, some of them don't. And some of the ones that don't make sense, we make sure we coordinate with the reporter. We ask them for more information or more clarification to make sure that we understand what they're trying to report. Once we get that information, we understand it, and we're able to deduce what is actually going on with the report. We will send that to the business unit, our developer, whatever affected part of Panasonic is for coordination. Once that vulnerability is fixed, as I mentioned before, if it's a product vulnerability that the PCERT coordinates, we will put it on our vulnerability advisory list. This is also linked directly from our corporate webpage. And when we publish vulnerability information, there will be a link to the business division that provides the update or patch or fix or whatever it may be to address that vulnerability, along with a simple description of what the vulnerability is, what product it affects, what version it affects as well, and also a CVE number. I'm sure most of you that work in cybersecurity, I hope you're all familiar with, or at least have heard of CVE or CVE number or CVE identifier. So we put that CVE number there, along with a credit to the reporter if they would like. So in this particular case, I believe there's a Michael Heinzel there. He's reported many vulnerabilities to us in the past. And as part of instead of just waiting for vulnerability information to come in, we try to be proactive in gathering information and vulnerabilities in our products. We do this through various avenues. One of our pet projects within our team, and I've presented it in the past, is our IoT threat intelligence platform, We connect IoT products, Panasonic IoT products directly to the internet to collect threats against those products to see what vulnerabilities or what's being targeted in the actual internet. And the next few slides, I'm just going to take my Panasonic hat off for a couple of minutes and put my CV board hat on to talk quickly about the CV program. Just a quick overview of it. I know there's a lot of people are familiar with CVE. Sometimes there's some misconceptions about it, so I just want to make sure there's some clarification, at least here within this audience, on what CVE is and what CVE is not. CVE is a community-driven effort. A lot of people it's funded by the US government, but it's not run by the US government, and those are two different things. It's operated by the MITRE Corporation, which is a federally funded research and development center within the United States. They guide the program to make sure, they operate and guide the program to make sure it meets its goals in identifying all cybersecurity vulnerabilities that are made public. And CVE is, and I'm sure if most of you are familiar with CVE, it is actually the de facto standard for identifying vulnerabilities in cyberspace right now. Everybody uses CVE, everybody knows CVE. I know there's a lot of opinions on it. I'll be around all day. If you have any questions about it, feel free to ask later. But the CVE list provides critical vulnerability information so that anybody involved in vulnerability management can use effectively to manage vulnerabilities within their infrastructure. And there's some goals to the CVE program. What we're trying to do right now is to better automate a lot of the stuff that goes on within CVE. A lot of the CVE infrastructure in the past was manual. There were actual staff that wrote all the CVE descriptions in the past. Now it's run by the CVE numbering authorities are the ones that create and post that information directly to the CVE website these days. So a lot of this has become more streamlined. And the CVE records, we want to make sure we get more information into them. We want to make, there's right now there's very few requirements to the CVE entries. It's a simple description with a link and a CVE identifier with a product name, version. But other information is also important. We want to make sure that the CVE program provides avenues so that other security organizations can add information to enrich that CVE entry to provide other information that can be valuable to folks that manage vulnerabilities or are part of vulnerability management programs within their own organizations. And lastly, who operates CVE? I kind of touched upon this on the first slide of the CVE stuff. It's operated by MITRE, but it is run by the board and the CNAs for all intents and purposes. What we're trying to do is to make sure that all the CNAs can provide vulnerability information in an effective and efficient way so that people that require this information to manage vulnerabilities or address vulnerabilities within their infrastructure can get that information easily and in a timely fashion. So that's sort of the goal of CVE. And I hope and again, as I mentioned before, if there's any questions on CVE itself, please feel free to come up to me during a break today. And to spare some time, I will pass it off to Jimmy-san.
Okay, thanks. So Taki-san explained how Panasonic handled the vulnerabilities from outside, like the incident response, and how we collected threat intelligence from the internet. And now I will share a bit of how our in-house product security assessment and research efforts are helping the security of our products. So the verifying and testing stage is one of the very important stage in the product life cycle. And in this stage, we will try to identify as much of vulnerabilities as possible before it is released to the market. So a vulnerability can be introduced into products in multiple ways, like if we are using open source code, in our code base, or maybe it's from the third-party library from the software development kit provided by our providers, or sometimes it can be a developer oversight that leaves a debugging functionality that inside our products. So there's a lot of ways that a vulnerability can appear in our product. So what do we do during this product security assessment stage? Apart from the well-known software side of assessment, like using port scan or the system vulnerability scanning tools, what's special about Panasonic, working in Panasonic, is that we produce tangible products. So there are a lot of hardware-related security that we need to take into consider too. Because like a lot of vulnerabilities are actually discovered from the physical vector, like I mentioned, the debugging interface that's left in the device. So an attacker can use the debugging interface to gain more information about how the system is running and to find vulnerabilities in it. So another example is that in recent years, more and more cybersecurity standards and best practice in the requirements, they will require the device under test to like disable the debugging interface. So our in-house testing team, we'll go to a far extent to like try to, when the product is sent to us for testing, we will like disassemble the whole product and try to find if our developer left any potential debugging interface in it, like we shown in the pictures. And other physical related testing items are, for example, the secure storage of sensitive data and secure booting. These are all related to the storage, the physical storage, like the chips or the hard drives in our product. So these are also one of the very special test requirements that are only for tangible products. And in our testing stage, we will actually, like, again, disassemble the product and trying to unsolder the flash and trying to modify or read its contents to verify if like for example, the secure storage of sensitive data, if this data is encrypted. And also for the secure boot, we will try to modify the firmware and see if the system actually boots. So here are two examples, and on the top is you can see actually the log says the signature is invalid after we modify the firmware. So this actually protects our product from for example, if a consumer have his product in his office or his home, or their home, and some bad actors just break into their office or their home to trying to modify the firmware and put backdoors in it, secure boot will prevent it from happening. So, yeah. And so there are some difficulties for testing these physical requirements, because like a huge company like Panasonic, we make a lot of products in different sizes and shapes, and they use different storage technologies in them. And as testing team, we have to like tackle all these different storage technologies. And so the skills and knowledge required in our testing team is actually a lot, and we are always trying to improve ourselves, improve the testing procedures and our testing skills to like provide the best quality of security assessments in our products. Yeah, so like not only the storage part, like even for finding for the debugging port or like other physical requirements. There's actually a lot of physical requirements that's in these new cybersecurity standards. There's always new technologies, and new knowledge that we will need to keep on learning and researching. So like our in-house testing team are like evolving with our new products because as Panasonic, we are always trying to make better, newer and better products for our consumers. And our testing teams have to evolve together with our new products. One interesting example and a sad story for our in-house testing team is actually that one day when we are testing our smart TV and we are testing for, again, the secure storage of data and the secure boot, we are trying to read the storage chip, the eMMC chip, on the right-hand left-hand side of the slide. And when we put that into the eMMC adapter, it just gave up its magic smoke and left a burn mark on the chip. So, and the chip is dead. It's just burned and dead. And the TV that's sent to us for testing is just break forever. And that the reason for that is that actually, I don't know if you can see it clearly, but on the bottom side of the slide, there's two diagrams, which is on the left-hand side is the standard eMMC, which supports dual voltage, which is 1.8 volts and 3.3 volts. But in this specific eMMC, which is using a newer technology, newer manufacturing technology that can that have a higher storage density. But the downside of it is that it actually only supports single voltage, which is 1.8 volt. So when we are trying to use a 3.3 volts adapter to read to perform the security assessments, it just gets burned and break forever. And so this is actually lessons learned for us, the testing team, because whenever a new technology comes and we break something, that's a sad moment, but we have to like keep walking, just get up and keep walking. So when we are facing the like again, this is a single voltage chip, which is not actually that common in products, and we have to find our own way to continue and to like perform this test so we can ensure the security of our product, because like we just burned the chip, so we can't be sure if the data stored in that chip is encrypted or is in plain text, or we can't modify the chip. So we try to cooperate with our Panasonic hardware design team to design our own adapter, just for testing the secure storage and secure boot functionality. We go as far as to making our own adapter to perform that test. So, like I don't know if anyone else is in here. The attendees are doing security assessments or have the experience of undergoing security assessments. Usually, we don't require that much of hardware knowledge and skills. But what's good in working in Panasonic is that we have a lot of talents that we can help each other to improve the skills. Like I mentioned, we cooperated with the hardware design team to design this specific 1.8 volt adapter. So they are helping us, the testing team, to grow, and in the same times, we, the testing teams, can provide like this better testing on these products, because if we don't have these special adapters, we can't be sure, like again, we can't be sure if the data stored in that chip is encrypted, is secure or not. So we are helping each other to grow, like they help us to make a better testing tool, and we provide them with a better testing result. Okay, so apart from our in-house testing, the story I just shared, we also have sometimes if our customers require us, or either customers or the regulations require our products to be sent to a third-party security testing service provider for security assessment, our Panasonic P-Cert are actually we will actually be involved in the process, so that you can see in the diagram that our business units will send our products to a third party for testing. And when they get the testing reports, we will work together with the business units to review the test reports to see if any risks identified in the reports are valid. Because sometimes these testing service provider will do everything they can, and they think something like risk A is serious, risk B is not serious. But sometimes in the business side of things, it might be different. Like the priority of risk is different. So Panasonic P-Cert will review the test reports together with our business units. And why the title here is evolving together with the business units is that usually Panasonic business units will send their products to the best testing service providers in their region. And like they might be the ex-hackers or CTF players that have a broad knowledge of hacking a device or finding vulnerabilities. And so the Panasonic P-Cert have to keep up with their knowledge to understand what they are doing, what they are trying to express in their reports. So we also we do not only evolve together with our product, we also evolve together with our business units when we are reviewing the test reports with them together. And sometimes we will even have to spot the errors in the test reports that's provided by the service providers, and the business units can in turn then challenge the service providers to supervise them to provide constant quality service. Because usually when time goes by, the service providers are more used to testing our products. Sometimes their tests will become more and more not so good. So yeah, okay. So our job, one of our P-Cert's job is to help the business units to supervise the service provider and ask them to provide a constant quality service. Yeah. Hand over the mic to.
Sure. So I know we're running for time, so I'll go through this real quickly. Conclusion: 3 main points. One, we went over some of our activities, mostly on response, and I did a quick overview of CVE. And then the testing parts, it's mostly about evolving with the times, making sure we understand the use cases of our products, and we're able to do that because they're done in-house. And sorry we went over time, and I'll pass it back over to Dr. Chun.
Okay, thank you, Taki and Jimmy-san's sharing about Panasonic product initiative globally. So because of time constraint, we cannot have Q&A, but in the end, they will stay here. So our next session, other than Japanese company, we will have USA company from Microsoft Taiwan, Dr. Kai Hua. Dr. Kai Hua is CTO of Microsoft Taiwan. So before joining Microsoft, he was at E3 as the Deputy General Director of Information and Communication Research Lab. And also he was professor at the National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. So Dr. Hua, as a CTO of Microsoft Taiwan, he's responsible for executing various digital strategic plans, participating in the development and the deployment of cutting-edge solutions, such as Gen AI, and is dedicated to enhancing the digital resilience of the organization and enabling industry transformation. So let's welcome Dr. Kai.
Thank you for the introduction. So today I'm going to share some information regarding to cybersecurity and incident response in action of Microsoft. And let me just quickly have a short introduction of myself. As mentioned earlier, I worked in HP Labs as an engineer in the past. And after that, I joined National Taiwan University of Science and Technology. I was a CSIE professor, and then AI director, and then vice dean, and then dean. And after that, I joined E3 and then Microsoft Taiwan. So currently, I serve as CTO of Microsoft Taiwan here. So before I introduce the incident response in Microsoft, I would like to share a little bit cybersecurity information from what we collected for our digital defense report. So for this report, we gather information from 10,000 experts from Microsoft security engineers. And during this support, we also noticed that there are like around 4,000 identity attacks was blocked through these experts. So by working on these analyses, we also synthesized around 65 trillion synthesized data for us doing this advanced security intelligence identification. So by working with so many experts and synthesize so many data and collecting so many information, what we noticed that is for nation-state threat, especially for Taiwan, we are facing a very challenging status because there are always threat actors from China, from North Korea, and especially in the time of presidential election, and probably this month and next month, there will be a like attack peak during this period of time. So, you know, be careful, you will be attacked very likely for this sensitive timing. And by our report, we also noticed that for Chinese state-sponsored APAC-TWNIC, like for example, in recent attack, we noticed that the threat actor, they are trying to being a spy, they will go into your system. Maybe they don't ask for a reason, but what they do is they stay in your system and try to collect data from your system. So how do we do the defense? From our observation, if you perform the multi-factor authentication and you apply zero trust, and you employ the extended detection and response at the mean, then 99% of the attacks will be secure. So by doing good preparation, you know, you don't really have to worry that much attacks. But once you are facing the attacks, things will be much more complicated. So before the incident response, I would suggest like everyone, to care about like how to prepare. Not when we're facing attack, we don't really need to deal with the incident response. So before what we do internally, I will also like to mention some incident communication. So within our company, the philosophy is, our goal is to earn the customer trust. So everything needs to be transparent. If there is anything or any incident, then there is a commitment from Microsoft. We will for sure notify our customer there is an attack. And also within the Microsoft, we divided our team into different different roles. So for example, there are accounting who is working for business. On the other hand, there is like cybersecurity notification team. We call it Mystique. So it's apart from our business team. So their role and their responsibility is to notify the customer in a very short period of time. So no matter what happens, once they get the information, then it's their responsibility to share those information in a very short timing. So for our principle, information, if it can potentially affect our customers, then we need to not only notify our customer, we need to identify the right channel and during the right time. So we need to find the right person. In general, if you have an tenant in Microsoft, then the contact information you leave there will be the person who get contacted. So it might not be your manager, but you would be the person you leave the information in the system. And also, while during this communication, we need to focus on accuracy, detail, scope, speed, and transparency. And for example, I actually emphasize a little bit for the transparency because it's our commitment to share everything to our customers. So the commitment actually is there is a security incident notification, and it's written in a certain document actually in your license as well. So once we have a collaboration, then you got this commitment. For the security incident timeline, there are a few steps. First step is preparation. We would have our Microsoft Response Center to do the research. And during that period of time, we will perform the detection analysis and try to contain the situation and perform the eradication and recovery. And after that, we will prepare to communicate with our customers. And then we might have legal team to be involved. And after that, we will notify our customers. So for all these steps, there is no precise timeline, but in general, our team is like working 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, since we have a global team here. So even if it's like nighttime in Taiwan, we will have another team in different time zone and working on the same incident response. So that will help us to make sure the notification will be announced in very short period of time. And also for the security or privacy incident report, our team, as I mentioned, we will have division in different time zones and then working 24 hours. And once we have this detection assessment, diagnosis, and then we will, at the end, we will also provide a lesson learned from, like internally, we will have an internal discussion. And also, depends on the license, we will also share some inside information with our customers. So for the incident response process, we need to differentiate some different cases. For example, there might be a privacy security incident, or it could be a bug from the product. So it could be an engineering incident. And also it could be like a most severe security breach. Then for different level of incident, then we were facing different challenges. So the first idea is we will differentiate different levels. And then based on the different levels, our mistake team will perform the detection, and also the response team will, based on the level, then they will have different, a little bit slightly different procedure. But all this procedure is make sure our liability and to make sure the financial impact is constrained, and also to make sure the internal or our standard policies are like consistent here. So why is there an incident response process? Because we wanted to make sure the efficient communication. Time is very important, and also we need to make sure how to reduce the risk, because once there's an incident, then if if it's affected through the system, or it can be, for example, we are also have some instances like there is a threat actor attack into the system, and then they change the admin, and then they can do much more attack through those admin capabilities. So at the end, we will have a documented report during this incident, what we have learned, and to make sure for the next time, if we are facing the similar attacks, we will be perform more efficiently. So there are two ways everyone might be involved in an incident discovery. The first type is you discover it. So if you discover that, we do have an internal education, so you just report to a particular email. And if you are involved, or if you discover it, the first priority is keep calm, don't panic, and then report the incident to the email that we mentioned. And if you will also pour into solutioning an existing incident, so again, time is always the most important thing. So don't wait, just act now. And for this, again, the keep calm is always the first priority, because once you panic, then things will be, or you get nervous, things will be more complicated. So if you are pouring, carefully review the instruction provided to you and make sure the evidence is protected and accessible, and work with the assigned stabilization teams to remediate the incident. So there are a few things you shouldn't do. For example, you don't want to over communication, and you don't look for freelancer or social butterfly, that will have the incident revealed to more people and the promiser. So all these are things that you don't want to get involved. And for the incident response, if we go a little detailed, you can differentiate into 7 stages. But again, it's just for the time constraint, I'm not going into all these steps. But again, it's as we mentioned, it's detection, analyze, and prepare to communicate with our customer, and then prepare for the final report. So a takeaway for this part is a security and privacy incident must be reported to our response team immediately. And if it is everyone's responsibility to know how to recognize and report a security and privacy incident. And not all incidents are a security privacy incident, and engineering bug can also be affected to the system very severely. And increasing the number of security and privacy incidents reported is an indicator of successful employee training. So we do have every year internal training for this issue. And so for my last session, I wanted to share a little bit regarding to the Microsoft Security Copilot. So as you might notice that for the past 1 to 1.5 years, it's always generative AI. For Microsoft, we integrate generative AI into all kinds of our product. One of the product is a security product. So during the last 6 months or so, we integrate the generative AI capability into our security product. So the first and only generative AI security product to help defend organizations at machine speed and scale. So what we do is we do have a complete or holistic Microsoft security product, and from our side, we do have hyperscale AI infrastructure, cyber chain model, and we do have 10,000 security experts working on this domain. And then, for the open AI related, we also have a train well prompt, so you know how to get interaction with these open AI solutions. So combining all together, one thing we need to know that when we interact with open AI, sometimes people are worried about the data privacy. So when we integrate together, it's in private network, all the communication we do have within the Azure tenant, we do have a private network to communicate with open AI model within the Azure data center. So we do have all kinds of security product with the OpenAI. We can communicate with unstructured data altogether. So automatically, different product, different log, different information can be integrated easily altogether. So this is one of the example. You can just ask as a prompt, tell me about my latest incident. Then through the generative AI, they will be able to respond easily. So in the past, given you are a manager, and if you wanted to identify or understand certain incidents, it will take time. Once you wanted to know something, you ask your engineer, and then your engineer might take like at least half a day or sometimes 3 days to give you a report. But nowadays, through generative AI, just a prompt and a response. So probably just few seconds, you can get a very initial insight for the incident. So even for the more advanced information, you identify an incident sometimes with some code name, then you can also interact with the generative AI, asking, for example, like what's the log4 shell, and then they will give you the answer. And if you still don't understand, then you can ask it, to give you an easier answer. So they will like explain in a more easier way for you to understand. And so security nowadays, once we combine the generative AI capability, and the management is easier because we can handle the unstructured data more easily. And the instant response, as I mentioned, giving a prompt is very simple. So you will be able to get more information as a manager, even an engineer. And for the security report, since we will be able to automatically combine different product security log altogether, so the security report document is more comprehensive. And so there are different products, and along with the generative AI, we do have a product called Security Copilot. So Copilot, like you can, again, similarly, you just give them prompt and they will return the information you desire. And as I mentioned in the very first beginning, we have all the connected data from all information, like most PC users, if they use Windows, we get the information. Like if they get attacked, we will be able to collect those information as well. And so, as you can imagine, that we collect all the information worldwide, and we have 10,000 security experts to analyze those data, and we have isolated instant response team. So as a global company, we will be able to focus everything very precisely. So this is one of the last slides I have. So along with the Copilot, there are 2 versions that you can use. One is standalone. So for example, you can have a standalone Copilot and to integrate different products. So you ask a prompt and integrate with different products. You get a broader text information from different reports. Or you have embedded version as well. So for all the products, Microsoft already embedded the Copilot capability into those products. So again, you can use your familiar Azure portal and then asking through the prompt information and easily get the information you prefer. So security is always important, and we should secure our future together. Defenders are being driven to innovate and collaborate more closely than ever. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you for Dr. Kai Hua. And also, his time control is very good, so no time for Q&A. But very thanks for the sharing of Microsoft's cybersecurity and the instant response in action, especially the last session regarding the Copilot for security that Microsoft just announced on April 1st. Okay, so last but not least, the session will be from Taiwanese company, Dr. Benson Wu. Benson got a PhD degree from National Taiwan University with a EE, and he was speaker for many events like Black Hat USA, DEFCON, HitCon, Japan AV Tokyo, Singapore Scan, Singapore Government Wear, and the US NIST State. Also, he was alumni for many APNG camp from 4th event to 7th event, and alumni at TWING camp, and also advisor to Department of Cybersecurity, Executive Yuan, Taiwan. So let's welcome Dr. Benson Wu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Chairman Kenny, for inviting me once again to this venue. And very happy to sit along together with the panelists from Microsoft and also Panasonic. And thanks, moderator Robert. Yeah, I'm the co-founder and CEO of Cycraft. My name is Benson. We are a Taiwanese company. We develop our own solutions to address cybersecurity operations. Myself and the other two co-founders, we are long-time cyber defenders. We know how labor-intensive it is to do cybersecurity operation. So that's why we want to come up with a solution that can empower other cyber defenders so that they can do more efficient and effective daily jobs. Next page.
That must be the earthquake issues happened last night. So keep calm, don't be panic, like Kai Hua mentioned just now. Okay.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, can you do the next page for me? Yeah, thanks. So we have three co-founders, and then I'm responsible for running the company, and then Jeremy is responsible for technology. PK is for a long-time law enforcement, experts in digital forensics. So three of us run this company. We all love cybersecurity. We can do all day long about cybersecurity, but without a solution, actually everyone gets very tired in the long run. So we need to use AI so that we can have more influence, bring more impact to humankind. So that's why we founded a company, and then we want to come up with a solution for everyone in the world. Next page, please. Thanks. So initially, when we think about running this company, I immediately realized I need at least 50 developers. So day one, I cannot just use my own money. I have to do fundraising. That is why I engage venture capital in Taiwan. But in day one, you don't have a product. You also don't have any customers. So it's really, really tough to get money initially at Series A. But I have to say, fortunate, there is a risk taker that is, very, very willing to take risk when there's no product, there's no customers. So I'm very fortunate to have early investors like CID and also Pavilion Capital from Singapore. And then we burn this money for 5 years. And finally, we break even on the number 6 year 6. And two things that we accomplish. Number one is we use AI for digital forensics. Because as a cyber defender, I realize digital forensic is the most time-consuming part. Traditionally, almost 15 years ago, I have to spend 4 hours on one computer just to do the disk dump and then do a full forensic in order to know what happened, what are the evidence, artifacts, footprints that are left behind by the attacker. And then the outcome is only one computer. So without a solution, there's no way that you can forensic for the entire company. Yeah, so this is the breakthrough that Cycraft was able to deliver. We come up with an AI-based forensic solution. Number two is then how can you do prevention rather than post-breach digital forensic? Nobody likes to be hacked and then to do forensic. So people always want prevention. So in order to do prevention, you need to have managed security service. So that is the second breakthrough that we come up is using Gen AI and to do 24/7 managed security service so that you don't have to wait until you are being breached and then do digital forensic, but you can do pre-breach and then do fast detect and response. So these are the two things we were able to achieve and then come up with the right business model to work together with partners and then to secure Taiwan And then with the reference that we have in Taiwan, then we can help the world. Sorry, next page. Yeah. And Cycraft is very privileged to be awarded as the next speak by the President, by the National Development Council, that they are encouraging us to be the TSMC in the cybersecurity world. Yeah, next page. And then because we are developing our own solution, so when we go outside of Taiwan, without a brand, we are nobody. Nobody knows who are Benson, Berman, or PK. So outside of Taiwan, you have to do branding. That's why we do monthly briefing to Gartner, to IDC, to Frost and Sullivan, and then hoping that they see the unique offering from Taiwan. Why Taiwan is so special, that the attack or sightings that we have in Taiwan means a lot to the whole world. Next page. And we are also very interested in that have a strong research team doing a lot of pioneer research on AI, on cybersecurity, and then we love to share all these to the whole world. And this Black Hat talk we presented last year was one of the best that I will encourage you to go through, because this one is purely non-commercial. Yeah, it's not about a product demo or about giving you a sales pitch, but completely based on how you can use a large language model to do data mining on neutral log data telemetry. Next page. And then we have so many similar cybersecurity talks, all delivered by our research team, not the product team. So these are all not sales pitch, but deserve your attention to learn together with our researchers. And then, yeah, next one. So what I want to share in this session is now AI is helping the bad people, but also helping the good people. Yeah, so to us, it's a challenge that AI is creating more new problems. I want to share with you what I see in this area. Yeah, next one. So now if you go to these antivirus testing organizations, and then you look at the statistics, you will realize every week, more than 2 million new malware. It means the attackers are using automation, using AI to come up with new malware on a very large volume. So they no longer use their handcraft a new malware. They use mass production using technology. In return, good people should be aware of this crazy number. You shouldn't deal with malware by human in the loop, because attackers are generating malware in large volume, 2 million new ones every week. And that is why you see so many cyber breaches every week on the news headlines. So it's becoming a problem that we all need to pay attention to. And looking at the damage cost, more than 10 trillion damage are related to cyber attacks. So this is creating a huge problem to everyone in the whole world. Yeah, not just a problem of Taiwan, but we want to leverage Taiwan's misfortune so that it becomes a value to the whole world that we can contribute. Next one, next page. And then why Taiwan has a unique advantage? First of all, Taiwan attracts the highest frequency of cyber attacks globally. It means whenever there is a new variant, there's a new malware, very likely it will hit Taiwan sooner or later. So here in Taiwan, the lesson that we learn means a lot to the whole world. And then that is why a lot of the allies, the friends in the world, especially like US or Japan, they are also seeking through these foreign affairs, see how they can help Taiwan. And so that the stability in this region can be assured, because Taiwan can be safe and stable. Next one. And then some numbers I love to share with you guys, and also particularly the Taki from CVE mentioned. There are so many vulnerabilities out there. It's almost impossible for any IT or security people to be very comfortable that they patch everything. So you shouldn't assume that you patch everything so that you are bulletproof. Yeah, in parallel, you should be patching, but also in parallel, you should do fast response, just in case you got breached. And there are also too many alerts when you buy a lot of different products. So these are become very labor intensive when you do today's cyber operation. So these are the two challenges every enterprise are now facing. Next page. So at Cycraft, I want to share with you, with AI, we all have a dream that cybersecurity should be affordable for every enterprise. Cybersecurity shouldn't be only a privilege for the large enterprise. Small, medium enterprise, micro enterprise, they should also be available or possible to use cybersecurity. Yeah, next page. And in doing that, this is what I come up with. Okay, I feel that out of like maybe 50 different products, if I can only choose a few that is very essential, I would choose these 4. Number 1 is endpoint, so EDR, but it should be driven by AI. The second one would be identity, because now identity is a catastrophe. We have cloud, we have identity, IT infrastructure, we have so many configurations, so many permissions. These can all go wrong because of human error, not necessarily because of hackers. So identity is a big issue nowadays. Number 3 is supply chain. So not just you secure, but also you need to make sure your suppliers are secure. So how you can assess your supplier also become a big issue nowadays. And number 4 would be the dark web, the deep web, the informations that are being exchanged by hackers, but you as a good people should also be aware of, so that you will not be in a situation where you are not aware of your exposures. So these 4 are the very essential solutions, I would say. If you have no security investment, at least you need to invest in these 4 areas in order to be safe enough. And all these 4, at Cycraft, we want to automate using AI. Yeah, next page. Next one, yeah. And I divide these 4 into pre and post. So some is using AI to predict and prevent. And then there's no 100% secure, right? So you also have to have detect and response once it's post-breach. So you can spend 99% of your everyday work on predict and prevent. But you shouldn't neglect. There's a chances that you'll be compromised. Then you need to go through these, what Kai and also the other panelists share, like instant response. You need to do fast instant response. To do fast detection, fast response. Yeah, next one. Next page. Yeah, and then at Cycraft, we send our product to MITRE evaluations. So we want to demonstrate that product developed in Taiwan, AI trained in Taiwan, can also be as good as product in the US. So that's why we send our product to MITRE evaluation. Next page. And then the result are, yes, the product developed from Taiwan is good enough compared to other solutions. Yeah, next one. And then, as I mentioned, inclusive cybersecurity. So the first abroad countries that we try to have a success is Japan. Why we choose Japan? For 2 reasons. One, Japan is a very mature market, so they understand why cybersecurity, you need to pay for it. Yeah, so a mature market, they understand cybersecurity is something valuable. You don't need to do hard education to tell them, oh, cybersecurity is so important. So in Japan, they all know cybersecurity is very important. In Japan, every enterprise, they all have cyber insurance. You don't need to convince them why they need cyber insurance. So that's why we choose a mature market like Japan to demonstrate that our product can help them. But why do they need a product that is AI-driven? Because in Japan, they don't have enough talents, even more bigger social problem compared to Taiwan. So in Taiwan, we are very fortunate. It's a country full of disciplined engineers. So we have a lot of engineers to devote themselves into cyber domain. But in Japan, the talent shortage in cyberspace is crazy. They don't have enough talents in cyberspace, not to mention in cybersecurity. So when they want to do cybersecurity, they need high automation. And it will be the best if it's fully autonomous. You don't need any expert at all. That's even better. So for these two reasons, it's a mature market, and then it's a market that doesn't have enough cyber talents. That's why we go to Japan, and then we have some initial success together with the Japan government and also with the service provider there. Next page. Yeah. So this is my last slide. I want to say that we all together as good people in cybersecurity, we should leverage AI as much as possible. The reason is because these are bad people. They're creating chaos to our modern world. But if we need to spend more time, more resource in order to recover, then we are already losing. So we should spend less time and less efforts. When they spend 5 minutes to attack us, we should spend only 5 seconds to recover. Yeah, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Benson. So Benson leaves us a lot of time. So for Q&A, so before 3 p.m., we can open for Q&A. Any question? Please go to the speakers over there. Yes, it's open.
Okay, thank you. This is Ruby from CSE. So we are a company that also involved quite a lot in cybersecurity space. So one of the questions that we have a lot of cybersecurity experts in the panel and as speaker today. So I think it would be good to exchange more ideas and get some advice here, because we also find that a lot of hacker nowadays, it's really hard to get the people who are behind that. Like they hide their identity so easily with the AI tool. So I would love to know more about, like in the Taiwan market, like when there is a lot of phishing, hacker attack happening every day. So you will also maybe facing the same question, like who are they? How can we find those bad guys behind the computer? And the question will be like, how do you think about the law enforcement here? Is there any improvement need to make to help to improve the environment, to make the internet hygiene better? So this is my first question. Thank you. So the second one, I will see whether there's time, and if there's no other question, I will ask the second one. Thank you.
Okay, so for gentlemen here, I believe your question probably the 2 doctors here can explain, okay?
Okay. So first, I wanted to mention the TSMC thing. Taiwan Security, Microsoft, and Cycraft. So TSMC is from here already. Okay, so to answer your question, I guess for the threat actor, as you mentioned, many times we will not be able to identify the whole picture of who are them. So for Microsoft, what we do is we are lucky to have a global team. So basically, for our mistake team, we collect the information globally. For example, there is an incident in Taiwan, and then we will collect the IP information for the very basic information. So for those IP information, then we will somehow input that into our database and to check if any incident is related to this. So as I mentioned that we do have a lot of, we are being attacked every day a lot. So the information is a very a fruitful one. Fruitful might not be a good word, but anyway, we do have a very big data set for that. So from our experience, I think if there will be some information sharing will be important, because within our company, we get the information, for example, from Taiwan, maybe we get, let's say we get the threat actor information in Asia. And then for those information, then we will be able to share with, let's say, some customers in United States. So once in the near future, they see that IP information, then they will link to the initial attack. So by all these small checks information, then that's how we try to extend the investigation and find the whole picture. But as you mentioned, it's always a very difficult, challenging task. So work together, as Benson mentioned.
Know your enemy is very challenging. So I suppose Panasonic, because they are on the end user, right? So they, as a big company, when they have a cybersecurity challenge, I think they probably are less interest on know the enemy, but more interest on how to respond faster. Yeah, because if you look at the law enforcement, policemen, cybercrime, the victim usually they don't have enough resource to know a lot about the enemy. It's the law enforcement job, the government job, to tell us who are the enemy. They should help us to find out about the enemy. We as a civilian, as a large enterprise, even though a lot of resource, but it's not fair for us to really go out, hunt the enemy, find out who are the enemy, but in the end, it doesn't help the company. So I would say know yourself is even more important. Yeah, we know the infrastructure, how to do, for example, Kai mentioned the multi-factor authentication using zero trust, how we architect the cloud, the infrastructure. We can know ourselves very, very good. We can design the battlefield very, very good. But the more we know about the enemy, that's something we cannot control. Yeah, they will do all their resources as a state sponsor to come up with a new way to attack us. This is something we cannot keep on chasing. This is my 2 cents. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So any other questions or any question from online?
I work on a government department, and every day we will get many security letter. Some letter is hacked or others. We know if the government is a company, our major product is several people, and our consumer is ordinary people. We major is several people, so we must security their and security their information. And my problem is how can we protect the government's information, like build ordinary concept or others. I always think maybe one day AI will help us to build security wall and prevent potential attacks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your question. So government, I don't know, this morning, the Minister of Moda, she was here to deliver speech, right? Kidding. So which gentleman you would like to answer the questions?
Oh, that's a difficult question. I can try. So this is not a representation of my company.
Which company you come from? We don't know.
So this is sort of my personal opinion. I didn't work for the Japanese government, but I work for an organization that was funded by the Japanese government. So in that capacity, I don't know how to answer that question, to be totally honest, having said that. I'll just use the AI example. Personally, I think AI is a fantastic tool to do what we need it to do, although we need to teach it what we need to do. And this might be I don't mean to sound pessimistic. I don't think AI is going to save the world. That's just my personal opinion on this. But I think, as Benson mentioned in his talk, there's a lot of good things that we can use it for. And I think there are a lot of smart people in this world that are enabling others to use AI to do good things. And I'm not sure if that answers your question, but I hope it's somewhat a step in the right direction.
Okay, thank you for Take-san. Any other feedback from?
I have a quick feedback here. So basically, I would suggest the zero trust architecture and the multi-factor authentication. So for these two, as there's one of my slides. If you perform some security thing, then 99% of attack will not affect to the users. So I would suggest you to go over what security system do you have at the moment, and there are certain suggestions that you can employ. And if there are something you haven't employed, then you can consider that.
Okay, thank you. So because of time constraint, we cannot accept any more questions from Ms. Venice Wang from Hong Kong CSC, right? But during time break, you can ask us questions. So today, thanks for TWNIC, Dr. Kenny Huang and the CEO regarding to organize this fantastic event. And from the panelists here, you did hear about the CVE every year, more than 30,000. And regarding threat intelligence, how can we collaborate with each other from public sector and the private sector, from country to country, USA, Japan, and Taiwan. And also from the cybersecurity, because of Gen AI, right now is sold with two sides. So no matter for attackers or no matter for defender, you heard the solution. No matter from Microsoft or the Taiwan is a very proud company, Cycraft, right? Startup company and the #1 brand. So we need to collaborate with a solution provider. So big company like ASUS or other companies, we may have 30 to 60 solution provider. So that's why we need to have this event, and we work together and we understand the latest trend, how this latest trend can save our productivity and to secure the company, the industry, and the country. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Dr. Jin, and for all of our speakers.